What is going on, everybody? And in this video I will be going over all 12 steps in the imported story here on the Crew 2. So jumping right into it, step number 1, house on the hill. Find the house on the hill in front of the Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca, between San Francisco and Los Angeles. So for step number 1, you guys will have to head over to the house on the hill located by the Mazda Raceway. So the easiest way I found to do this is to spawn over here by the Coastal Range to LA Street Race. It's going to be very close by to Big Sur if you guys might have been wondering where this is located, and luckily the house on the hill is very close by. Now moving over to step number 2, car dealer. Travel from the Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca between San Francisco and Los Angeles to the car dealer in Santa Barbara, north of Los Angeles, with any ground vehicle. So for step number 2, you guys will have to leave from the Mazda Raceway area. Now unfortunately there's really no way to fast travel to the racetrack, so the easiest way I found to do this is to spawn into your plane and head over to the racetrack just like this. Once you guys arrive at the Mazda Raceway, all you then have to do is head over to the car dealership in Santa Barbara, which will be a little under 7 miles away from this location. And now moving over to step number 3, burger in Santa Monica. Travel from Santa Barbara to the burger place in Santa Monica, northwest of Los Angeles, with any ground vehicle. So for step number 3, you guys will have to leave from the Santa Barbara area, so I recommend leaving from the dealership that was in step number 2. I feel like you really have to do this because you can't actually spawn over here anyway, but luckily Santa Monica is only about 4 miles away to where the burger place is located. So now moving over to step number 4, harbor. Travel from Los Angeles to this spot near a crane in San Francisco's Northeast Container Park with any ground vehicle. So for step number 4, you guys will have to leave from the Los Angeles area, so I recommend just leaving from the burger place that was in step number 3. I think this is the easiest way because it also puts you right on the road that heads right back to San Francisco, which is going to be about 14 miles away to the harbor. And now moving over to step number 5, the dam. Travel from San Francisco to the dam in Lake Shasta, north of San Francisco, with any ground vehicle. So for step number 5, you guys will have to leave from the San Francisco area, so I recommend just leaving from the harbor that was in step number 4. I feel like this is the easiest way, and luckily the dam's only 7 miles away from this location, so it's pretty close by. Moving over to step number 6, car dealer in Vegas. Travel from Redwood Park to the car dealer in Las Vegas with any ground vehicle. So for step number 6, you guys will have to leave from the Redwood Park area. So if you guys are on the dam, just turn around and head back this way a little bit, and then you will be in the Redwood Park area. And for this one, you have to head all the way to the car dealership in Vegas, which is going to be 27 miles away. So I do highly recommend using a hypercar on this one because this might take a little bit of time. Moving over to step number 7, racetrack. Travel from Las Vegas to this entrance of Golden Hills Racetrack south of Las Vegas with any ground vehicle. So for step number 7, you guys will have to leave from the Las Vegas area. So for me, I spawned over here by this street race. Now you can easily leave from the dealership that was in step number 6 because luckily Golden Hills Raceway is insanely close by at around 6 miles away compared to the previous step that was 27 miles away. Moving over to step number 8, Salt Flats. Travel from Las Vegas to the white tents in the Bonneville Salt Flats with any ground vehicle. So for step number 8, you guys will have to leave from the Las Vegas area, so I recommend spawning over to this drag race. It's literally on the edge of Las Vegas, and luckily the tents in the Bonneville Salt Flats are like 3 miles away from this location. Moving over to step number 9, Motel in St. George. Travel from Bonneville Salt Flats north of Las Vegas to the Motel in St. George, far east of Las Vegas with any ground vehicle. So for step number 9, you guys will have to leave from the Bonneville Salt Flats area, then head all the way over to St. George, which is going to be about 20 miles away from this location. I recommend using a hypercar again on this one because this is a bit of a drive. And now moving over to step number 10, Church in Santa Fe. Travel from St. George, far east of Las Vegas, to the Santa Fe's church with any ground vehicle. So for step number 10, you guys will have to leave from the St. George area. So for me, I recommend just leaving from the hotel that was in step number 9, and then heading over to the church that's in Santa Fe, which will be about 13 miles away from this location. Moving over to step number 11, Skyscraper in Dallas. Travel from Santa Fe, far northwest of Dallas, to this building in City Center, Dallas with any ground vehicle. So for step number 11, you guys will have to leave from the Santa Fe area, then head all the way over to Dallas, which from this location will be about 15 miles away. Luckily, finding the Skyscraper was really easy because that building really sticks out. And now moving over to the final step, the house in the forest. Travel from Dallas to the house in the forest in the north of New Orleans with any ground vehicle. So for the final step, all you guys have to do is leave from the Dallas area. Now I recommend leaving from the Skyscraper that was in step number 11. I feel like this is the easiest way because you basically have to leave from this area anyway. And luckily the house in the forest is only 12 miles away, which I noticed most of the previous steps are like 10 to 15 miles. Anyway, here's the location of the house in the forest, which luckily wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be to find.